Warren Buffett once said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Work until you die? Well, we're definitely not doing that. And that is why I've created Life of Dividends. And this is our dividend portfolio update for trading week ending March 14th, 2025. And boy, have there been a lot of changes. So let's go. As we're all aware, the stock market has been down in recent weeks, causing a lot of concern and stress. A lot in part due to the use of margin or the use of not using margin. So in considering and reevaluating my own portfolio, I decided to take the hit and make the changes necessary to go without using margin to grow my portfolio, or using very little margin, as you will come to see later on in this video presentation. But we went ahead and took the hit, and our portfolio, as you can see, is down from last week of the $12,517.23, and currently with the closeout of Friday, our balance is $8,398.18. And what you can also see there is the significant increase in buying power. And we'll talk about that a little more or later on. Now, in considering that with the trading week ending March 4, 2025, we had 926 shares of MISTI with a reoccurring DCA of $20 every trading day. As you can see there at the bottom, the hits that we were taking with the market decline, we decided to, again, take the hit and do something different with our portfolio, which was to purchase 1,000 shares of Coney, as you see there, at an average cost of $7.95, and start a position in Tesla, which we currently now have 30 shares at an average cost of $8.27. We also have a reoccurring daily buy of $18, which is getting us just about 2 shares daily, as well as putting in additional income that we can purchase additional shares when we can as well from our discretionary income. But this is what's changed with my portfolio. We've taken it from just trying to acquire 1,000 shares of MISTI and dropped it down to get rid of all of the margin, and just dropped it down and starting off with 1,000 shares of Coney and 30 shares of Tesla. Now, moving on with this, what you can see here, by doing this, we have our buying power up to $21,600. You can clearly see there our individual cash is zero because we have invested our individual cash, leaving us a remaining margin total amount of $21,600 for buying power to use, but we're not using it. Okay, let's see here. Moving on with that, what do we have? Of course, in the month of March, with the changes that have come about with the stock market and selling shares and buying shares and then reevaluating the portfolio into what it is now, we've received no dividends for March thus far. So we look forward to receiving our dividends for Tesla this coming week, and Coney the first week of April, and so on and so forth. So again, we took the hit because if we continued down the path that we were on, from our perspective, it wasn't going to get any better. So we took the opportunity to realign our portfolio with what we were comfortable with, and now we've come up with a new game plan, and that game plan being to acquire 1,000 shares of Coney, Tesla, NVIDIA, and MISTI in this order for monthly payers or monthly payouts. We also want to establish a weekly paying ETF, such as 1,000 shares of ULTY. And we'll also be DCAing one at a time into each of the ETFs daily until 1,000 shares is reached. We will use all available discretionary income to buy shares to achieve the 1,000 share goal in each fund. After achieving 1,000 shares in each fund, then cycle back around to bring them all to 2,000 shares, then 3,000 shares, etc. With margin, we will only use margin. We're going to use it sparingly. For example, we'll use perhaps maybe the $1,000 of margin that Robinhood gives to us at zero cost or zero interest, perhaps. But using larger amounts of margin, we won't be doing that until we have learned the art of options trading and are feeling comfortable with that. But that is our new game plan, and how we feel comfortable with growing this portfolio. And we're not in any rush to get to, $1 million. We're not in any rush to get to any significant amount. Rome wasn't built in a day. This takes time. It takes time to make money. It takes time to invest money. Now, there's been lots of conversation about using margin or not using margin. And at this time, from what I've seen in my experience, I'm just not comfortable with using margin and continually being hit with margin calls or margin warnings and having to deposit money into the Robinhood account to get out of those margin warnings or margin calls, then just for the market to drop again to get the same margin warnings and margin calls. I'd rather the money that I deposit into the Robinhood account to go toward purchasing shares and not being absorbed by the margin deficit. So that's why we've decided to go without using margin. I think it's a better use in facilitating our dollars of investing into these funds. So that is where we are at with the trading week ending March 14, 2025. We will continue to purchase shares of Tesla this week throughout the remainder of March, and hopefully be able to get ourselves to 1,000 shares by mid-April would be the goal. And hopefully looking at opening the Ulti position again to achieve the 1,000 shares there for weekly payouts as well. So look for that coming soon. But that's it for Life of Dividends for the trading week of March 14, 2025. Stay tuned for the next episode, and let's see how we finish out the month of March.